Welcome to Gross Anatomy.
So, Lauren, are we live?
We're live, Dr. Cohen.
We're live, Lauren. We're live with Gross Anatomy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do there?
We explore the sights, sounds, and smells of medicine and how it pertains to pop culture, movies, books, TV, and the world around us.
And the world around us. And I am Dr. Jason Cohen.
And I'm Lauren Taylor. And today we have a special guest.
Someone neither of us know.
Right. So the first time meeting.
First time meeting. Very exciting. New friend.
Dr. Christopher Liu Md Phd. Welcome to Gross Anatomy.
Thanks, guys. I'm really happy to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Your extra letters intimidate me.
Actually, I saw all your followers on Instagram, and I was actually intimidated by your Instagram following and channel.
Thanks.
Ooh,
we're
thank you.
trying, and it's not live, so there's no reason to be nervous.
I'll trade you some followers for those extra letters.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, very impressive. I'm very envious. So if you don't mind, we're going to start kind of a little bit from the beginning, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
To your birth. So where are you from? Where were you born, actually?
I was born in Hartford, Connecticut. Born in '78,
Hartford.
and then when I was 3 months old, my dad was in healthcare, so he was in research. So he worked at UConn and then got a job at UT Houston. So I grew up in Houston and grew up around the Texas Medical Center.
You moved at 3 months old?
Well, I didn't, but my parents did.
They left you, you mean? You didn't move?
No.
So little known fact, I almost wound up at University of Connecticut. And just the way we take our deviations, and I was all set to do a trauma critical care fellowship at University of Connecticut, Hartford. And on a whim, I went out to Cedars-Sinai to do a cancer surgery fellowship, and the rest is history. And now I'm in LA. So you grew up in Texas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a Southern boy, so.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
I don't hear the twang yet. I'm going to try to listen for it.
No, I'm from Oklahoma. I don't think I have a twang, so I get the Texas Oklahoma thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I'll let you guys speak twangish a little while
Twangish.
We
Exactly.
work hard not to have that twang.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Were you always a science kid?
Yeah, I was a science kid. I grew up around science. I grew up, back then, my parents encouraged my brother and myself to go into medicine, become doctors, achieve financial stability, security, social status. So I followed that path.
Did your brother also?
Yeah. My brother's he's attending at UT Southwestern in anesthesiology. We both went to Baylor for medical school. I went to Rutgers in orthopedics, and like I said, I've always been an outsider, so I didn't realize it till later on, and I've always been an entrepreneur, so I really didn't really follow mainstream followings. So it was luckily when I was in graduate school, medical school, I started investing in real estate and investing in stocks and trading options. So
as a medical student?
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you doing it just for fun, or were you doing it because you had friends who were doing it and you were trying to keep up with them, or?
Well, it first started out so that I could, generate some side income so I could, go out, travel,
How much money did you start with?
Well, I started out with 50,000. So
wow, where'd you get 50,000 from? Bar mitzvah money?
Well, sorry, from what?
Did you get it from bar mitzvah money?
No, actually, part of it was from my mom's life insurance when she passed away. So
oh shoot!
Yeah.
Holy cow. How old was your mom when she died?
She passed away when she was 39, and
yeah.
How old were you?
I was 11.
Wow. What'd she die of?
Metastatic cancer.
What kind?
Breast.
Wow.
So treated at MD Anderson. I think now the therapies are really advanced, so the outcomes are a lot better.
Wow. It was diagnosed late?
Yeah, late, and so that was my impetus for going into medical school, was just because my mom had passed away. So I thought, that was a good reason. but it really
Yeah.
wasn't my passion. It really wasn't, what I really wanted to do. So I had to slowly, depart from that paradigm.
So as a high school student, you were going to be a doctor because of mom, or to try to get a good job? What was your thinking?
It was a combination. So, one of it was
But you weren't in love with medicine. You just thought you should be a doc.
Yeah, I was an Asian kid. I grew up in an Asian household. You're taught to either become a doctor or you go into finance or law or dentistry.
Same with the Jews. The Jews were pretty much the same way. Either
Yeah.
doctor, lawyer, and if you were an idiot, you became an accountant. That's a Jackie Mason joke. That's not my joke.
Explain that to someone who is neither and who didn't grow up with like doctors or lawyers as parents. Like, do you guys are your parents really strict? Do you just study all the time? Like, what is the path to becoming a doctor?
Well, are you asking me or Dr. Cohen?
I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. Oh,
she doesn't care about me, but I'm going to give my answer anyway after you go.
I mean, basically, it's go to school, get good grades, listen to your teacher, go to Ivy League school, go, the standard path. And it's good. I mean, it's pretty standard. It keeps you out of trouble. And it, gives you a good stable path, for life. So, I think that's
my parents beat me. That's kind of how I was able to do it.
Well,
but it's true. No, there's something to be said about the medical field in that, as long as you could do it and work hard, you'll always be able to earn a certain kind of income. You're not going to necessarily be rich, but you'll be able to kind of make ends meet kind of thing and provide.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of it's a bit of an immigrant mentality a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think, immigrants come and they want their children. They see that if they really work hard and become a doctor or a lawyer, they'll be okay, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's kind of how my family was too.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of similarities between Jews and Asians in terms of children, upbringing, and that work ethic a little bit.
Yeah, culture, just basically come to America. It's the land of freedom, opportunity. Make what you can. If you can't make it here, then you can't make it anywhere else. I mean, here
Frank Sinatra. That's Sinatra's song, right? That's New York. It's up to you, New York.
Yeah.
So, but science and medicine weren't a passion. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I was good at science. I was good at taking tests. The thing I loved about science was that it was very creative. You set your own schedule, you work hard. But the thing is,
did you have a passion though yet in high school? Did you?
Well, I mean, my passion was like science. My passions were in a lot of it was reading, like self-development. I was really passionate about music and the arts, but these were only hobbies. So
right.
these were never pathways towards a success. These were always deemed as secondary.
Right. Well, in terms of? Go ahead, Lauren. Sorry.
So if you had told your dad that you wanted to be like an artist or a musician, would he have been angry about that decision?
Yes.
So you never even brought it up?
Yeah, I mean, it was basically you're going to be a doctor, and if you don't, we're going to have issues. So you sort of like, in a sense, it was good because it kept me out of trouble. I think if I didn't have that guidance, I wouldn't have developed that work ethic. So work ethic.
What in terms of the arts were you interested in?
Music, writing. A lot of my creative endeavors are in media, like videos, podcasting, audio.
Cool.
So yeah.
Lauren's brother is an amazing visual artist. He's a painter. He's
wow.
And sculptor also. He actually, we had him as a guest on one of our
awesome.
podcasts. He's amazing. He goes by Painted Pulse, right?
Painted Pulse. Okay.
Yeah, he really is a phenomenal artist.
Oh wow, I love art. I go to the Fine Arts Museum all the time. I love Van Gogh, just the Impressionist paintings. So it gives me good solace to see art, and so.
What's that, Lauren?
I'm saying I miss the museums being open, unless they just opened. They're still closed in LA.
Yeah.
I know. So you went to med school though.
Yep.
Pleasing dad, as did I to some degree. And where'd you go to med school?
Baylor, down in Houston, Texas.
Right. And so while you were there, you said, hey, let me take this inheritance from mom and see what I could do with it.
Yeah, exactly. I had that. I took out a little bit of student loans because a lot of the loans were subsidized, so I didn't have to pay interest. And I just started like back then was started med school in 2000, and that was right when things were like booming. So all the way from '06 or 2000 to '06 was when the market was hot.
Were you just doing basic stock trading, or were you doing options? What were you doing?
I was doing options trading, and then I had a long-term strategy where I invested in stocks. So it's basically buy and hold.
Did you have a friend or a mentor who was kind of helping you, or were you just kind of winging it, figuring it out?
Oh yeah, I actually started. That's why I started small, so I didn't risk a lot. So it was more so I could hang out with my friends, extra side income, and so that way I learned how to trade and invest safely, so I didn't lose a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Even with the options.
Yeah, back then, I mean, pretty much back then from 2000 to '06, I mean, you bought a call option.
Everything went up.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just, but then after 2008, it's been a wild ride. It's like
Right.
up and down, up, down. So, but I got lucky.
How much money was the most you made on a single option trade back then?
Back then, man, it was like sometimes 5 figures, like high 5 figures. And that was like in like a week, 2 weeks. So
did you ever lose anything?
Oh, I mean, yeah. Of course.
What was the most you lost? What was the most you lost?
I mean, 5 figures sometimes. Yeah. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is all while you're going through residency? Like you're doing this or no?
No, through medical school.
Medical school. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you turn that 50 into something, or it pretty much stayed 50?
No, it grew. I actually multiplied it 8 times. So I multiplied it 8 times.
So what is that? That's like 400,000 pretty much?
Yeah. And
nice.
And that was when I was 29 years old.
Are you impressed I was able to multiply? Was that good? I was able to multiply there.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I used, I mean, back then, like you could buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, like really nice for, less than 100,000. So, and even then, back then, I didn't take a loan out but back then banks were like lending very easily.
So easy. It was crazy. You just had to sign your name and say you were a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. So I bought 2 properties there, and I rented that out. In Texas, yeah.
Did you know that, Lauren? It's crazy. In the early 2000s, I did it a little bit too. I wound up getting hurt in the bubble, the market bubble. But you were able to borrow as a doctor. You could just say, I make $10 million a year, and by signing your name, they would lend you the money. It was that pathetic.
It was crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. And that's pretty much why. What was the movie?
I know, that's what I was thinking of. I didn't know it at the time, but I know it because of that movie. Is it Too Big to Fail? Or no, that's a different movie.
No. It's the movie with.
We're thinking of the same movie with
the Moneyball guy.
Yeah,
with Brad Pitt, where there's the characters,
Short, right?
The Big Short,
Big Short. That's right. Yeah.
That movie basically sums up exactly what happened. Like everybody and their mother was doing it. The stripper from that movie, was talking about how she
3 houses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a little bit of timing. So you it sounds like timing wise did pretty well.
It was good timing.
Yeah.
And then again, all of these were side stuff. So it's, the always end goal was you're going to become a practicing doctor. So
what made you decide to do orthopedics?
Orthopedic? Well, the thing was I was always into athletics. So I like that. I had, I really, I'm a no nonsense type of guy. So I don't really like debating things. I just like getting things done. I like the immediacy, you could get people up and walking again. So I like that. And the main thing was that it was high paying, so it paid very well. So,
but it's long training. It's
exactly long training.
How many years?
It was like 5 years, and then plus a year of fellowship. So yeah, and I have an interesting story. So it's like at the end of training, you'll make like 800,000 or a million figures. You go into spine surgery or right.
Orthopedic surgeons are probably the highest tier doctor in terms of, I think spine, neurosurgeons and orthopedic surgeons in terms of the hierarchy of who makes the most money, maybe plastic surgeons and derms also, but orthopedists are in that top 3 to 5 earners.
Yeah, they're very it's very well compensated. So, and again, I matched into Rutgers in 2007, and I did 2 years of it, and I was just like I said, it's like kind of like time is your most precious asset. So I was like, do I want to spend all this time for this training and not really be passionate about what I want to do, or do I want to really just take a leap of faith? Because I didn't really have any financial obligations. So it was like, do I want to just take a leap of faith and pursue my creative passions? So that's what I did.
So what did you do?
Then I invested in real estate from 2008 at the bottom, and then all the way up to 2016. So from then I was able.
Wait, while you were doing orthopedics, you mean?
No, after my second year, I took a leap of faith and I decided to venture out as a full-time entrepreneur to do it.
So you left your residency.
Yeah, exactly.
You did 2 years of residency and then you said no mas.
Yeah, I said.
Wait, let me back up. You have a PhD also.
Exactly.
When and where did you do your PhD?
I did it during medical school, so I was part of the MD PhD program.
Wow. So when you went to med school, you're like, I'm going to do the whole crazy kit and caboodle. That's insane.
It's insane. Yeah.
What made you decide to do a PhD? I mean, that's so long, laborious. And what made you think that?
Well, one thing was,
and PhDs typically aren't known for making money. So what were you thinking?
So my main thing was that there was a full scholarship for MD PhD students, and in that, so they paid for everything, plus you got a stipend. So to invest in
the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then also it makes you more competitive for residency. And then the third thing was like my ideal goal for my parents or for my dad was to become chairman. He wanted me to go into academics and become a chairman or associate professor.
Was your dad a doctor?
No, he's a research scientist. So
he's a PhD.
Yes, yeah, he's got so
living up to dad.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
how many years was med school for you then?
Well, total was 7 years. 7 years from start to finish.
Wow. So 4 years of med school, 3 years of PhD.
Yeah, exactly.
And you finished your PhD.
Yeah, finished. Yeah. So
what was your PhD in?
Bioengineering and nanotechnology.
Oh, cool stuff. Mm-hmm. Stuff that you could do business with, right?
Yeah, exactly. So in my time at Rice were like the best times of my life because those were the really because Rice is very entrepreneurial. A lot of their students do a lot of startups. So it's almost like living in a small Silicon Valley type situation. So you're like around a lot of creative people, people that are very entrepreneurial. So that's how I got the impetus to invest in stocks, trade options, get into real estate. So,
did you ever think about like starting your own kind of company or like?
Yeah. So when I was doing all of this, I formally incorporated in 2002. So I started, for more like liability, like decreasing tax liability,
but not like, as a PhD, you're like learning cool stuff. You never thought of like building your own kind of web company or something. You never had like an idea you were going to do or some kind of technology you were going to come up with?
So I thought about that, and I thought about that would be a very long and arduous road to take an idea and bring it to market. So what I did was I started learning about investing in wealth. So the systems, the processes, the mindsets, the strategies. Because if I learned that and I developed a skill set to perfect those, then I could become financially free. So I didn't really have to take an idea and make it into a global phenomenon. All I had to do was learn the systems and processes to become an investor to be able to generate wealth. So that was my thinking.
What was the first thing you read?
What, the first book?
Yeah. I'm curious, what were you reading and listening to that helped the most? Like, do you have any
what was your spark? Yeah.
My spark. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So that was.
I knew you were going to say that. I was going to say that too. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Rich Dad. I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's like the Bible for personal development. The other one is Multiple Streams of Income, Creating Wealth. And then from there, I just started reading more and more. So I mean, my library is like thousands of books, but those are like my top choices. When anybody asks me what is the life-changing books, those are the ones.
What made you actually 2 years into an orthopedic surgery residency, already having finished an MD PhD?
Uh-huh.
What made you say, "Let me not do these 3 more years"? What did something happen, or did
exactly
you get into a fight with your dad? What happened?
No, well, it's a very interesting story, very dramatic. But so what it was my schedule was 40 hours. Most of the times I was working 40 hours, going on fumes, 1 to 2 hours of sleep. That was like for my first and second year, and I just I didn't have any passion for it. So the day that Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy, I that was my intuition's calling, saying, this is your chance to jump, to take the leap. This is your chance. And if you don't take that leap, then you're going to miss your destiny. So that was when then I was like, okay, I either pursue my passions and my dreams, or I live the rest of my life with regret. So that's why I walked into my chairman's office, turned in my keys, badge, and pager, and I've never looked back, and the rest is history. So, and the funny thing is, like, I got into an argument with my dad. He's like, "Oh, you're throwing your future away." I didn't go home for 2 years. I didn't talk to any of my family for 2 years. And that 2 years I was, becoming an entrepreneur, and I was building my company. I had faith in myself when everybody was telling me I couldn't do it. I just kept doing it. And then in 2016, I came out and I made my comeback. So now I'm speaking everywhere. On podcasts. I've written 4 books. So now it's coming to fruition. So
how's your relationship with your dad?
Yeah, I mean, we made up. When I paid off all his debt, that he had accumulated,
wipe the slate clean.
Yeah, wipe the slate clean. So
so when you left, had you already amassed some money when as a second year resident?
Yeah, I mean, I had enough to. I mean, I could live off of that for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. I live a very simple lifestyle. I can splurge here and there, but again, everybody was coming from this paradigm where they thought I was crazy because I was throwing away an entire future where you can make $800,000, $1 million a year. But I mean, it's almost like the Wall Street stock trader, where if you're not doing it, if you're just doing it just for the money, you're gonna hate it, and you're gonna hate yourself.
Right.
So so they didn't see it from my point. They just saw it from their standpoint, that I was just throwing away $1 million career. And it's almost like a violinist like quitting, or a sports figure quitting, or somebody getting injured,
right.
Something that kills their career. So that's how they viewed it. But I viewed it as more as I was going out to fulfill my potential.
So what did you change from the day you turned in your badge and your gun? What did you change from then to the next day? Like, what did you do differently? Because it sounds like a lot of what you were doing, you possibly still could have been doing as a resident. What more did you do other than get rid of the medicine?
Well, one thing was I caught up on all the lack of sleep. It took me it took me 2 weeks to fully recover from that sleep deficit. Just
right.
So I did that. I took a little bit of a travel just because.
Where'd you go?
San Francisco, Miami, around. I also traveled throughout Europe, Southeast Asia, and just, did a lot of introspection.
Right.
And, because back then it was like sort of, if you left orthopedic, you were just looked down upon. It was like, you're in the lowest points of your life.
Right.
So, I had to really regroup and think what I wanted to do. So, and then how I would plan, my rise to the top again.
So what did you start with? What did you, when you came back?
It started with exercise, diet, a lot of meditation, getting my mind right. a lot of it was setting intentional, being more focused and intentional about where I focus my thoughts and my awareness and what are my intentions, and being very intentional about how I spend my energy away, and who I surround myself with in my environment. And really basically harnessing the law of attraction. So really just honing into the flow and cultivating a ecosystem where you have positive inflow and outflow.
Sounds very zen, very, very zen.
Yeah.
What is your brother? What's your relationship with your brother? What does he think about what you've done?
Well, I mean, we're close. Like we've always been
Yeah.
close as brothers. And
Does he envy you, or does he think you're nuts, or a combination of the both?
Well, like my brother, he's got a personality that's such that he fits well into the corporate. He can thrive in the corporate medical. He's very he
Right.
can play politics, and so he can do that. I don't know if he I don't know if he envies me. I mean, he's got a beautiful wife, 2 kids. He's got a nice house. He's got a good career. So I think he's seeing the fruits of his labor as well.
Does he ever invest with you?
No, I don't invest. We keep our finances separate. I do my own investing.
So so tell me on this podcast, how do I become successful like you?
Well, I mean, one thing is go after your dreams, because I mean, now the opportunity out there. I mean, the barriers to entry to anything to be successful is really small. There's very high margins. So I think really with technology and the way in the information age, really, I mean, people can become millionaires in their early 20s, in their teens, and there's much more faster ways of achieving a fulfilling life. One that doesn't require a lot of struggle and heartache, and you can really go after and pursue your passions.
So I'm a big fan of Tim Ferriss. Are you a Tim Ferriss fan?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forgot to that one book, the 4-Hour Workweek was also a good one too.
Talk about that.
Yeah. The Value of Time. That was the one. Yeah. That was really good.
Yeah.
We've talked about like job burnout or doctors experiencing burnout. So if any doctors are listening and they did want to make a career transition, I know you have a YouTube channel where you go over like the top 5 mistakes. What would you say is like the number one mistake people make when trying to make a career transition?
Not planning ahead. So it takes a lot, because medicine is a long process. It's you invest a lot of time and energy, so it's really hard to just quit cold turkey, because a lot of physician salaries are in the high 6 figures. So to be able to walk away from that, it takes a lot of planning. So either you cut back on your expenses, or you able to generate that type of income or more through other means. So it's really starts with planning. So planning, you have to educate yourself, you have to read, you have to talk to a lot of people, you have to start small, get a lot of experience, and you have to slowly transition. And that starts with just developing a more entrepreneurial mindset and developing alternative streams of income in addition to your primary clinical income.
So what would you tell a middle-aged doctor who's looking to try to find other revenue streams? What do you recommend?
What do you I mean, the two go-to is I think stocks is I think it's easier than real estate, because real estate is a hard asset. So you're dealing, real estate is a lot more complicated. So I mean, the stocks you can easily get into. You can buy and sell stocks very cheaply. So but stocks and real estate are the 2 ways to wealth that I think majority of people in America that became millionaires, multimillionaires, that's how they created their wealth.
And you think someone with just a few $1,000s laying around could doing stocks could parlay that into a decent amount of money?
With a few thousand, I mean,
like say someone has I have $5,000. Can I turn it into a fortune, or
it's possible?
Do you have some recipe that can do it?
Well, there's no secret. I wouldn't say there's no secret recipe to success. I mean, I'm not sure if you could take five. I've read there's a book where there's 5,000, like how I turned 5,000 into like a million. That takes, quite a lot of acumen and financial acumen. It's easier to take, your earned income, save it and invest it, put it into like, and convert your earned income into passive income. That's an easier way. If you have 5,000 to invest, invest in a lot of education, invest in a lot of courses, coaching, invest in networks, getting around the right people. I think that would be the best. The best investment is investing in yourself as well.
That's a good point. Investing in yourself.
Mhm.
What in terms of real estate investing do you do?
I just do single family, just bread and butter, single family, buy and hold. That's been my strategy.
Buy and hold and then rent out?
Mm-hmm. And
back when I was in med school, there was this, if you would watch TV late at night, I don't know if you remember it. Lauren, you're probably too young. There was a guy named Carlton Sheets. Do you remember that guy? He was, late night TV, there'd be late night infomercials about some guy, if you take his course, how to buy real estate cheap, and flip it, and they'd have all these people come on, in front of their Hawaii homes and stuff. And I remember back in med school, I bought the Carlton Sheets, notebook and stuff, how to do it. Needless to say, I didn't have my Hawaii home, but
yeah, I think people got to be careful. There's a lot of people that want to cheat you out of money too.
Yeah,
be careful, like who you.
Yeah, exactly. You have to really do your due diligence. That's why I only invest in my own money, and I don't like take outside, and I don't invest with others. Is because of you have to really do your due diligence. It may be slower on the profits, but in the long run, you don't lose as much, so you save yourself time and money. So
you don't partner with people on like deals and things like that?
No, I just invest on my own. And if you partnership and you do deals with others, syndicates, all of those will generate wealth faster. But again, the risk is that you can lose it all. So because you don't have that control. So like I said, it's all a game of trust and who you associate with and who you deal with.
Do you find you use your MD at all anymore?
Yeah. I do a lot of consulting for hospitals. So I do a lot of electronic record implementation. I participate in a lot of where the hospitals transition from paper to medical records. And it's almost like being a doctor because you still have to, you don't participate in patient care directly, but you're helping patient care by implementing these transitions.
How have you been able to do that?
Well, like for example, right now I'm doing a consulting project where the hospital is undergoing a major transition, into the Epic system. So a lot of it is you're working with physicians, you're working with doctors, nurses.
And how do you position yourself to do that? Are you like a Epic or computer? Did you make yourself an expert at that stuff, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, as physicians, we all use the Epic or Cerner systems. So, and a lot of hospitals are looking for physicians to actually help physicians because it's the best way. I think if I were a physician, I would want to be helped by another physician because they understand what I'm going through, my situation, and how they can best help me as well. Mm-hmm. So I like that. But like I said, it's busy. You're working long hours. It's stressful. You have to communicate a lot. A lot of it's relationship management, managing expectations, and that's how I leverage my medical degree.
That's cool. We had on as a guest. Did you ever read or hear of the book House of God?
That's the one. Is that the one about the internship or the story of?
From from the 70s about a guy going through, becoming an intern and going into medicine. So we had on the author. He was our guest, Dr. Shem, came on as a guest, and he'd written a follow-up to that book. And in it, he talks about the electronic medical record and how awful it is. Which to some degree it is,
Yeah.
it's really just about ways for the
Yeah.
The electronic medical record, unfortunately, wasn't really built to truly help the doctor.
No, it's all for billing. That's all it is. It's to capture all the charges, all of the billing. So, and
Exactly.
that's all it is for. So it doesn't, and I've seen doctors where like a simple case, like a 20, 30-minute case, and they have to spend 2 hours because with these implementations, they have to spend that extra hour and a half to, learn it and, go through all the,
Yeah.
and it's not for them. It's for the CEO.
It's just for billing.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there were a lot of old-time docs who retired because of it, who said, I'm done with medicine, and
Yeah.
that's it. It's amazing.
I was doing a project in 2017, and a lot of doctors, they just said it was a rough trend, and they just said I'm retiring, and then
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
and
That's
this
not
year, oh sorry, go
That's
ahead.
not good. I feel like I keep hearing about a doctor shortage. Dr. Cohen says he's not seeing that, but I don't know. But I'm worried about doctors not wanting to do this anymore.
A lot of early career physicians, 3 years, 5 years out, are retiring. They're looking for other things to do. I think even with the COVID pandemic, a lot of physicians, because they, got the short end of the stick, a lot of them just quit. They retired. So that's the next crisis: is a lack of physicians, a shortage of physicians.
So do you have a lot of doctors reaching out to you and saying, hey, help me either get out altogether, or?
I actually have, I started coaching physicians back in 2018. And then what happened was in March, when the pandemic hit, a lot of physicians had their salaries and bonuses cut. A lot of them got furloughed or laid off. And so I got a ton of requests to help coach them. And really, I didn't have enough time. So I formed these group masterminds where I go through different aspects or different careers that I've been able to generate income from. So consulting, I've been doing a boot camp mastermind since July, and it's been very successful. I did a public speaking mastermind as well. And I'm hosting a series of workshops later on this year as well as early next year, just to help as many physicians as possible.
That's great. How many people tend to show up to those?
Usually I try and keep it small and intimate. So, usually 10, 12 people.
And you have a whole outline and curriculum, or you're kind of just winging it as you go?
No, it's a course curriculum. It has a syllabus. It has homework exercises. It has a private Facebook group. I try and do it where you have a online educational resource library, but also you have a live interactive component where you can ask questions. You attend lecture, network with others, and try and design it so that it's very educational and interactive.
That's really cool. And do they have access to you afterwards if they want it, forever access to you?
Yeah, they have my email on social media. There's my private Facebook group. So like I said, I try and design it so that it's more of like a course.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do you charge for that?
It's actually very minimal. So it's for a month, it's $325 for the whole month, and it includes 4 to 5 educational sessions. It includes the recordings, so everything is recorded. You also get, I send my clients my 4 books that I've personally written, and I personally send it to them, ship to them for free.
How was writing books? It's always been something I've wanted to do, is write. How do you actually do it? Like, when did you write your first book? You were already done with residence. You already stopped, right? So what year did you write your first book?
I wrote my first book in 2018. So that was
so you banged 4 books out, bam. Wow.
Yeah.
So how was writing your first book? What was your process? How do you motivate?
Mm-hmm.
Did you hire someone to help you write it, or?
Mm-hmm. I actually have a 4-part series on that. What it is you basically stick to a schedule. So I have a process where I can finish a book in 30 days or less. So
wow.
Yeah. So you
Do you
have
do that with TV screenplays also?
I know.
I have no experience in TV or
Right.
yeah. So my
So I'm sure you say you have to write every day, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
1 hour, write a page a day, 2 pages. At the end of a month, you'll have enough for a book.
Do you outline first? Do you kind of write and kind of see where it takes you?
Broad strokes. So you have an outline, you have chapters, you see where it takes you. Sometimes as you write it, you get new thoughts, new ideas. So a book is almost like an organism, an evolving organism. The thing is, my first book took me 9 months to write, and my final book took me 1 month to write. So I know all the ways to shave off time, how to avoid procrastination.
Wow.
And so really those 8 months is a lot of just knowing how. And
who edits it for you? Do you have an editor that edits it, or you?
Yeah, I have an editor. Her name is Catherine Galan. And really, like I said, in these days, a freelance editor is really the way to go in freelance writing. So you don't really have to go through a publisher or publishing house if you're using it just to augment and enhance your brand.
So you did it all yourself. You didn't sell it to a publisher or anything like that.
No. The other thing is, like, for example, like very extremely busy physicians, they have no time to sit down and, an hour or two to just write. They can hire a ghostwriter. So it's where they pay somebody and they'll share their story and the ghostwriter will write it for them. And so it's, for a lot of physicians or high income earners that don't have a lot of time, that's another way to do it, is through ghostwriting.
Dr. Cohen, you got to write a page a day. Maybe I don't know how you're going to find the time. That's another question I was going to ask you, Dr. Liu. I was going to ask you about work-life balance. Do you have any tips? Dr. Cohen and I aren't sure it really exists. How do you actually get work-life balance?
Well, that's tough. In today's age, with just so many options and distractions, and, media, it's hard. And, with careers, everybody can, pursuing careers. So everybody's not following traditional modes, norms. So you have to really focus, and you have to really be intentional. So, if your focus is on your career, really focus on that. I tell my clients to focus on the core aspects. So that's their health, their wealth, their finances, their career, and their family, their relationships. Those three. So you really have.
It's interesting you said family last.
well, as you age and you grow, your priorities will change. So
right.
Dr. Cohen, as he's saying these points, I think you've actually achieved work-life balance. Maybe you just don't know it.
Yeah.
Sounds like you hit on all those cylinders.
I don't think it's work-life balance. I think it's a work-life juggle, and something is always suffering and something's always doing okay. And you just have to pick and choose what you're going to let suffer and what's going to be okay. Like right now, my wife and kids are like, why isn't he hanging out with us? But it's a constant struggle and balance.
Yeah.
Do you have any, or have you had any heroes or mentors, or you've pretty much been able to do this on your own?
Nobody really took me under their wing. I never had anybody just say, come here, I'll show you the ropes. My dad was always my mentor. So that's where the thing I learned from him was just a work ethic. So really I can outwork anybody. But like all my mentors came from books. So the people I admired. So Warren Buffett, I read him. I read all his mindsets. People like Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Tony Robbins. All these you can take in sort of use as your mentors. There's an interesting chapter in Think and Grow Rich on the mastermind, and it's actually asks you to design your own personal mastermind. Of all of your mentors and who you admire, and you visualize that. So, but
Think and Grow Rich. That's the book. So I'm going to put that. I never read that one, so I'll put that on my list of books. Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Remind me, Lauren. Let's put that on our list.
Okay. Yeah, will do.
If you had to pick one book to start with for someone, looking to do other stuff, what would that one book, what would be the starting book?
I would my starting book would be Think and Grow Rich. So that's comprehensive success in any aspect of life.
Right.
If you're looking at finances, then Rich Dad Poor Dad, multiple streams of income. So I haven't really the family relationships, that part, that's like you said, it was like third on my list. So I'm trying to make it, bring it higher. So, try and make it, so it's number one. And so, I mean, like that will take more time and more work as well.
Yeah. Where do you live?
Houston, Texas.
Oh, you're still in Texas. Nice.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So what, one other thought I had was that nowhere in, whether it's in med school or residency or there is no education about how to make money, save money, earn money, invest. Nope. Zero. Yep.
And
right?
Yeah.
Doctors have no idea. Med students have no idea of anything. There's really no. It's not. And what's interesting though is, I don't know about orthopedists, but plastic surgeons and dermatologists, when you go to their medical meetings, because my wife is a cosmetic nurse, so I'll sometimes piggyback onto her meetings. Uh-huh. A lot of their meetings is about practice building and financing and marketing, which is interesting because it's the only field in medicine that, at least when you're finally there, does to some degree talk about that stuff. But regular surgery, regular medicine, zero. I wonder if, I wonder if it would almost be worthwhile to go to universities, medical schools, and say, we have this course, and try to sell it to these universities and things.
Yeah, I mean, that's potential. I know there's a lot of activism for medical schools to introduce a course in, finances. So, the only course in finances we got in medical school was our final year. We had 1 hour lecture on student loans, and that was it. And then they
more than I had.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is just the whole educational model is all based on teaching you to learning how to go out and get a job versus, create a job for yourself or create income for yourself. So, that needs to be emphasized as well. Hopefully there's like schools for entrepreneurship, elementary, school, gifted schools, as they have, music, art schools, maybe they'll have like schools for entrepreneurship and creativity as well.
Yeah. I know, you help put on these courses for doctors looking for other revenue streams, but it might be, we should do more. We should try to figure out a way to really offer more, I think.
Offer courses. Yeah. And I know a lot of physician coaches offer courses for medical students, residents as well. I know there's like a niche, a lot of doctors focus on teaching undergraduates how to get into medical school. And then there's doctors that teach on medical students how to get into residency. And, so there's different niches and different needs in the market segment, in the market population.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Are you a movie, pop culture, TV fan at all? What
usually
do you like?
End each podcast with what we're watching for the week, or like what new book or anything new that we're like. Mainly, it's been like streaming on Netflix or Amazon Prime. But do you have any recommendations?
I'm a big movie fan. I love Amazon Prime, Netflix. I recently finished the season of Dark. Dark was good.
I don't know that one.
I don't know that one.
Is it scary? Dark.
It's actually sci-fi. It's talking about black holes and wormholes and going through time. So it looks at the different characters through 5 different lenses of time. So
is it fiction though, or is it
fiction? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dark. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
What else?
On Amazon Prime. I'm going to look that one up. I need a new show.
What else?
Let's see here. There's I finished the Last Dance about the Chicago Bulls dynasty.
So
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I love
watched-
that documentary.
Yeah, that was awesome. I've always been a big fan of the TV shows Billions, about the
Right.
I think it's the the billionaire stock, the hedge fund.
My husband watches that show. I don't know.
The first season I thought was great. The first season I thought was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love Bobby Axelrod.
Right. One of my partners is totally into that guy. He's like, why can't we be more like Bobby Axelrod?
Fake.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, those are good recommendations. Anything else, Dr. Cohen? We've taken up an hour of his time. Anything else you want?
No, this is great. I'm so happy you reached out to us.
Well, thank you for joining us on Gross Anatomy.
Thanks for joining us on Gross Anatomy.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
Really
All right.
Enjoy our conversation.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks, Dr. Liu. Great meeting you.
Yeah, you take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening to Gross Anatomy, and be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you can check out more episodes on the evolving sights, smells, and sounds of medicine.
Gross Anatomy is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition.